Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the Renaissance Yorkshireman podcast. Today, I'd like to talk to you about Dunbar's number and Plato's number. So, what are Dunbar's number and Plato's number? Well, Dunbar's number is 150, and it's named for evolutionary psychologist Professor Robin Dunbar of Durham University. And Plato's number, depending on which source you look at, is either 216 or it's 5040. So why do I want to talk to you about Dunbar's number and Plato's number? The simple answer to that is, in my analysis of states and non-state forms, particularly of non-state forms, in my book, The Tao of Sustainable Development, A New Postcapitalist Paradigm, I think these numbers are of fundamental importance because they reveal deep truths about the human condition. Before I start explaining about these numbers, I'd just like to read a short quote from Professor Martin Nowak, who says, "The cosmos itself is mathematical. Everything and anything that happens in it is the consequence of universal logic acting upon universal rules." So numbers affect our lives. There's simply no getting away from it. Fibonacci numbers and the golden mean or the golden ratio, these numbers have special properties that affect our lives as humans. Dunbar's number, commonly taken as 150. This is based on research carried out on groups of primates. Particular primates have a maximum group size. So the maximum group size for a group of apes is different from the maximum group size of a group of chimpanzees. If we take the group size of different types of primates and we measure the size of their brain, we get a particular figure. If we use that figure with the human brain size, we then get a number of 147. And Dunbar has rounded this up to 150. In theory, you could have a group of 150 humans or less living together, and every person could know every other person in that group. If you've got a group of more than 150, they can't know every other person in the group because of the size of the human brain. It's like a mathematical truth of the human condition. Now, Dunbar says this: primate societies seem to differ from those of animals in two key respects. The first is the dependence on intense social bonds between individuals, which gives primates a highly structured appearance. But other animals differ from primates in a second respect, and that is that primates use their knowledge about the social world in which they live to form more complex alliances with each other than do other animals. So, what about Plato's number? It's unsure whether Plato's number is 216 or whether it's 5040. Now, it may well be both. Plato was not explicit on this point, but I'm taking it to be 5040 because I believe that this number is also a mathematical truth about the human condition that relates to non-state forms. Why do I believe this? There's a number of reasons, and it's to do with the properties of the number itself. So, Plato's number, 5040. If we look at this magic multiplication square here, you will see a 4x4 table filled with numbers. Now, as it happens, if we multiply all the horizontals, they come to 5040. If we multiply all the verticals, they come to 5040. The two diagonals, if we multiply them, they come to 5040. The four squares in the corners, 5040, and the four squares in the middle, 5040. The four outside squares multiplied together come to 5040. There is no other number in the world which has this property. 5040 also has a number of other properties. So first, 5,039 is a prime number. It can only be divided by 1 and itself. But 5,040 is a colossally abundant number and a superior highly composite number. One of the things that this means is that there is no number below 5,040 which has as many divisors. So 5,040, I believe, has 60 divisors. There's 60 different ways you can divide it. All the numbers between 1 and 10 and 12 are divisors of 5,040. It's one of only 10 numbers below 1,000,000 to have this property. It's also 7 factorial, which means 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6 times 7 is 5,040. It's also 7 times 8 times 9 times 10 is 5,040. And it's 70 times 72. And the following number, 5,041, only has one divisor, and that divisor is 71. Why does it matter that 5,040 has these properties? Well, quite simply, I think it's a message from the universe, from God, from nature, take your pick, telling us, humans, that this number is important. I'd like to read the quote again from Professor Martin Nowak, who says, "The cosmos itself is mathematical. Everything and anything that happens in it is the consequence of universal logic acting on universal rules." It's my belief that Plato's number and Dunbar's number are fundamentally important for the organisation of humans outside of the control of the state. And I will explain exactly why in my next video. Thank you for watching.